everyone, this is Amy with KETOLISCIOUS Life. Welcome back to my channel. I'm in the kitchen getting ready for Thanksgiving, and I decided to tackle the cornbread chaffle stuffing or dressing, whatever you call it where you're from. So I know it's really difficult to get cornbread flavor or texture, but we're going to do our very best. And I have a cornbread flavor concentrate we're going to be using. And we're going to be using, for texture, we're going to be using some flaxseed meal. This is flaxseed that I've milled in my bullet, and it's kind of like, it's coarsely ground, but not completely super fine. So let's get started and see how this turns out. Okay, so I've already created a single chaffle recipe, but I'm going to be doing this times 4 so I can get enough chaffles for the stuffing. So we're going to get started with 4 eggs. We're going to add 2 cups of chicken broth. Okay, now we're going to be adding our seasonings and our spices. 3/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. 3/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder. 1/2 of a teaspoon of thyme. 1/2 of a teaspoon of turmeric, a sprinkling of celery seed if you have it, that's optional, 1/2 of a teaspoon of rosemary, 3/4 of a teaspoon of sage, 4 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. Put some pepper, sprinkle of pepper. And we're going to bring this to a simmer and let all those flavors marry together. Okay, so I'm going to use a food processor this time. I'm going to make my mixture a little bit more mixed up in smaller pieces so that it'll be more kind of denser and a little bit more like a cornbread recipe. So we're going to take our cornbread chaffles and just tear these into pieces. Doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, so I just pulsed this in my food processor to make it a little bit smaller. So if you can see on the side here, there's a lot smaller pieces. So I'm going to add this. I'm going to add all of these pieces to my casserole dish. Whoops, I always forget about that thing. I'm going to add those all in. If you see any big pieces, you can just tear them up, make them smaller. Alright, so that's going to be ready for all of our mixture. Now I'm going to add in all of my celery and onion mixture. Be very careful because it's probably hot. I've had it just simmering on low. I'm gonna add all of this in. And we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pulse this just lightly to make all of the celery just a little bit finer. I'll be right back when that is finished. All right, now if you like a fluffier, more bread-like texture, then you can skip the step of coursing this up in your processor. And now we're just gonna pour all of our mixture. And you can even do it a little bit smaller than this if you want. And I'm just going to combine this really, really well. Give it a good stir. Now, I tasted the Chaffles. It does resemble cornbread. It's definitely not 100% cornbread texture or flavor, but it's pretty close. I mean, it tastes delicious. I'm not unhappy about it, but yeah, so there it is. We're gonna put this in the oven and bake this for about 30 minutes, and our stuffing is done. Nice scoop of stuffing. I'm like in an awkward position here, so I'm dropping it everywhere. We've got our beautiful gravy. And I'm just gonna give this gravy, a stir because it has a lot of beautiful pieces of turkey. And then we're gonna pour some gravy all over everything. Yum. And there is our turkey dinner. Yum, yum, yum.